Yeah, very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, live from Curries Fountain in Durban. It is indeed for Cosatu's 30th anniversary celebrations. People are starting to come in. Remember, there's a march currently happening between Durban City Hall to Curries Fountain. So a lot of the members that are supposed to be present here are making their way to the stadium. It is scheduled to start in the next few hours. But this is a big celebration. Cosatu turning 30. Now, back in December 1st, 1985, that's when Cosatu was born, right here at this historic stadium, the Curries Fountain Stadium. Now, we're told back then when delegates gathered, they represented about 500,000 membership in terms of total membership, and that was drawn from about 33 affiliates. Things have grown since then. There's highs and lows. Cosatu has gone through the whole range of emotions, of challenges, of successes over the last 30 years. And this program today is expected to highlight some of that. Where is Cosatu going? Where is Cosatu at this present moment? And what sort of issues are they taking up? Let's further this conversation now. We're joined by Sizwe Pamla. He's the national spokesperson for Cosatu. Thank you very much indeed for your time. It is indeed a milestone. 30 years. Cosatu is celebrated today. What's the mood like here?
Well, the mood, we are very happy. We are very happy. It's a milestone for the workers. It's a milestone for the working class in this country, especially when you see where we come from as a federation. When we were born in 1985, the apartheid regime was still in existence, and at the time it responded with force. And actually, the 1.3 million hours that were lost due to strikes in 1985 as a result of the formation of the federation, the regime decided to go on a spree. Remember, at the time, they actually had the police were unleashed and the security forces against the workers to try and coerce and bully them into submission. But this federation has since grown after that. They refused at the time to die, and they've since grown. We are a 1.9 million strong federation right now. We've had some few problems over the last few years, but we've had two successful congresses that have rectified that. The federation has shown that it does have the capacity to self-correct and to actually cleanse itself.
Let's just talk about these problems. I mean, you mentioned it. Cosatu has gone through a period of turmoil, one would say, internal turmoil. But where is the federation at this stage? What is the state of Cosatu at this stage?
Well, the Special National Congress and the 12th National Congress have made it very clear that 18 of the Cosatu affiliates are still with the federation. The workers have made it very clear in the 12th National Congress that what they want is a federation that is focused on dealing with their issues. Because actually the challenges that we're experiencing were actually manufactured challenges, because there's nothing new that was being proposed by either NUMSA or the General Secretary of the Federation. Some of the issues they were highlighting are the issues that the Federation has always highlighted itself, in terms of the fact that we still have high unemployment, that the economy is not taking us as workers where we would like to go. But we felt that they were not necessarily genuinely raising these issues because they were looking for solutions, but they wanted to use the federation to go on their political adventure, which is something that we felt we were not going to allow. This is not a political party, it is a federation of workers. And those who attempted to hijack it and so that they could use it for their political adventure, they were rejected by the workers.
Can you confidently say that these problems are behind you?
Well, the problems are behind us, but the process of unity is going to take a long time. It took us almost 5 years for us to get to where we were. But now we think that we are going to use this term, which means the next 3 years, to really catch up and rebuild the strength of the federation, rebuild the unity. We do have internal challenges. Some of our affiliates are really going through some pains, and we think that as workers we need to make sure that we give them whatever kind of support that they need, so that they can find themselves being able to represent workers in a more robust fashion.
Is that one of the central themes in terms of unity, cohesion? Is that one of the central themes for today?
The central theme of this celebration is that this is a new page. We are opening a page that will keep this federation standing for the next 30 years. And also the message is very clear from the 12th National Congress. The Congress has told us that membership service, recruitment, those are the buzzwords for all of our 18 affiliates, for all of the workers, shop stewards and leaders out there. That the Congress said we have a lot of issues, but for us to be able to push back and fight against monopoly capital, we need to be united, to be strong organizationally. So how do we achieve that? We need to recruit more members. It's a shame that we've got more than 70% of the workforce that is unorganized in this country. So the Congress has made it very clear to us to say we need to go out there and recruit those workers and bring them in the fold of the federation. And for us to be able to influence even decisions that are taken politically, we need to have that strength that we can only get from numbers and unity.
Yeah. So what's the target? You're sitting at what, 1.9 million? What's the target?
You'll remember actually that the 2015 document had set a target of 4 million.
Is that realistic?
Well, look, it was in 2003 when we set that target, and we had said by 2015. So as you all know now that we didn't achieve that target. But what we think here is that we need to have at least 50% of the workforce in this country unionized. What is troubling currently is that we see more fragmentation when it comes to unions, but those unions are only fighting over 27% of the workforce. We think that we actually need to start having sober discussions with other federations, with other unions, to say how do we unite workers, even not necessarily so that we find ourselves get bogged down on ideological parameters, so that we transcend those, so that we organize workers as a class, so that as and when they wage their battles, they wage them as a class, not because they belong to either this political party or that ideological strand. So that is going to be the challenge, but we think we are ready for that challenge, because all of us as the trade union movement, if we don't find solutions to our differences and our challenges, monopoly capital will crush us.
Just very briefly, just give us a sense of what can we expect today. We know there's the Deputy President of South Africa, Cosatu President speaking, the General Secretary of SACP among the speakers today.
Well, yes, we are going to get solidarity messages from our alliance partners, the SACP, SANCO and the ANC. And the President of Cosatu is going to also be the keynote speaker today to just sort of like trace our steps back to those formative years. Because today is more about celebration. We are really celebrating the fact that this day here now, it comes at a time when we have overcome the biggest challenges. We were going through some pains over the last 3 years, and we felt that by the time we celebrated this, we were not even sure whether we will have a sense of where we're going. Now we have a very clear sense of where we're going as a federation. Today is about celebrations. It's about workers looking back and actually paying tribute to the founding fathers of this federation and saluting those workers who have started this journey, and also acknowledging the fact that we have had some difficulties, but we have got a number of victories. And we think that for us to look forward, we're not just here because we are sort of like imagining the past, but we're trying to imagine the future, but also honoring and acknowledging the role that was played by our past to take us to where we are now.
Sizwe Pamela is the National Cosatu spokesperson. A chance for reflection and a chance for celebration. It is a bit of a gloomy day here in Durban, but for the people that are here, I'm sure it's not dampened their spirits. We're expecting a flood of humanity, so to speak, to enter the gates of Curries Fountain. Coming in here, they're on this march from City Hall to Durban, protesting, among others, police killings in the province and nationally. So keep it locked on to SABC News for more, but for now, it's back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Blaine Herman, our reporter, based in Durban at the Cosatu's 30th year celebrations, of course, happening there in Curries Fountain. But we're going to leave our news at that. Marumo Kekana is currently standing by with your latest in sports.